Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today we are diving into a super practical topic for anyone who loves to cook or who loves to run a food business. Have you ever wondered how much your recipe really costs to make? Or have you ever struggled to set the right price for your dishes, your menu and food dishes? Well, you are in the right place. In this video, I'm going to teach you step by step how to create a dynamic and easy to use Excel recipe cost calculator. This tool will help you to track your ingredient cost, calculate total recipe cost, determine cost per serving, and even set your desired markup selling price. Without wasting further of your time, let's get cooking with Excel and see what it gives us in value. So Excel is a simplified system. It's unlike many complicated interfaces that the calculator apps may give you, but Excel is simplified. Here is the interface of this Excel worksheet. This is our first sheet. In this Excel document, we have four sheets. Three is for this first three is for the calculator, and then this last one is for your daily sales summary to give you an overview of what your daily sales look like. So go through the tray first and give you an understanding of how to use this Excel sheets to make your calculations. First is the ingredient sheet. In this sheet, you have your ingredients that you use to produce your recipe or food menu. In these ingredients, you have flour, sugar, butter, king soil, sardine, and you can add as many recipe as you want to. It contains all the recipe, especially if you are a baker, you have your flour, your sugar, your butter, everything in this recipe. Even if you are a shawarma person, you have your shawarma bread and everything, sausage, everything set in this recipe section for you. At the end of the video, you can go to the description section of this video and download this Excel sheet for yourself. But before you do that, let's get into the details on how to use this Excel sheet to your benefits. So these are your ingredients. This is units. You can put grams or pieces as your measurement unit. In this one, we are using grams. It's optional. You can leave it blank. It doesn't mean anything. But in case someone else want to use your sheets to make your calculations for you, they will have a better understanding if you include the units. The next column is for postage quantity. What's the quantity of goods that you bought? So this is 50,000 grams, which is a bag of flour. Bag of sugar, 50,000 grams is equivalent to 50 kg. Then these are your postage prices. How much you used to buy this 50,000 grams or 50 kg of flour or sugar, as the case may be. So in the case of flour, it's 61,500. The amounts are in naira because we are Nigerian. You can always change the currency to your own currency. It doesn't matter, it will work the same. And then the sugar is 81, butter is 45. So these are our costs. Now this is the unit cost column. This column is just simply, let me click to show you the formula. D divided by C, which is the postage price divided by the postage quantity, gives you the unit cost. So you can build this exact interface for yourself. This first sheet, this is all it entails. So let's move to the next sheet, which is recipes. This is where we take it a step further from the ingredient. The ingredient is just to put the ingredients, the quantity that you bought, and the amount you used to buy the quantity, that particular quantity, and then the price divided by the quantity will give you your unit price. So let's take step by step. Let's review the recipe sheet. First column has the recipe name, which is the product in your menu, the recipe that you produce. In this case, I'm using sliced bread as a typical example for our products. I will add another recipe to show you how to step by step add these recipes and populate this sheet. So now the second column, which is B, is showing you ingredients that you use to produce this sliced bread. Then these are the quantities that you use to produce, which is the column C. For example, the flour we say 15,000 grams, then the butter 5,000 grams, then sugar 3,000 grams. They are not absolutes, they are just uh, uh, figures that we use, abstract figures that we use to cite example to give you an understanding of what this interface looks like and how it works. Then the units, which are the grams. In the case of sardine, we say we are counting pieces or we use pieces. Then this is our unit costs. This costs, I use this formula to derive it from the first sheet. So if you look at it there, flour is 1.23 naira per grams. Then if you come here, it's the same 1.23 naira per grams because this one is derived from that ingredients sheet, the unit cost from here. So as you are updating your price there, let's say for example, flour moved to 70,000. So as you have updated it and it's changed to 1.4 naira per gram, if you come to the recipe, you will observe that it changed as well inside the recipe sheet. So this column is dependent on the first unit cost. So that as you are populating, as you are making changes to the prices over there, everything, your food cost changes automatically. That is why this Excel sheet is vital. It automates the process to save you time, to avoid error, and to increase efficiency. You don't have to wait for days before you update your prices. You can do it almost immediately by changing the price in the first sheet. So now the ingredient cost. So now this cost is derived from this column E multiplied by your quantity, which is column C, will give you your ingredient cost. Then G is for yield. How many pieces or servings or portions were produced from this ingredient, this recipe that you've consumed? How many how many portions of bread, for example, did you get from producing with this recipe and this quantity and their respective quantities? So in this case, we said it's 32 pieces. That's our yield. But to show you how it works, before I show you how to add your own recipe, let me quickly run you through the cost summary. Then I will come and add a new recipe so that you can see how it works. In this cost summary, because we have only one recipe, which is this one, we don't have any other recipes. Now this column, the recipe cost is showing you the total cost of what you consumed to produce that recipe, the total cost of what you consume to produce that, the raw materials that you consume here, these raw materials that you consume here, to produce these 32 loaves of bread. They said it's costing us 58,734 naira, and the yield is the same. Now, cost per 7 is as simple as this as simple as this recipe cost divided by your recipe yield. It will give you your cost per 7, the cost of a loaf. That's what it is. Then the next column is your markup price. You can always change to whatever percentage that you want to make as profit from selling a unit or a serving of your food. So in this case, we use 50%. Now, if you are selling with 50% profit, now the Excel sheet is showing you that you are supposed to sell it at 2,753 naira. If your production cost is this, that means you have to sell this amount to get 50% profits. And then the profits, expected profit from selling these 32 loaves is 29,367 naira. Then the total revenue you are expected to get derived from selling all the loaves of bread is this 88,101 naira that you are seeing here currently. So now let's go ahead and add a new recipe and see how it really works. Now we are going to, for example, add a food menu this time, basmati rice. All right, so we come over to this column to now populate the ingredients for producing basmati rice. So let's make it bold. Okay, so now our number one ingredient is basmati rice. Then another ingredient is chicken. Another ingredient is some oil. Versus sorry, what else again? Okay, let's work with this one. Even though it's not the full recipe for this product, we are using it to cite an example. So let's say we use 150 grams. Then okay, let's say we have 150 grams. Then 900 grams. Then 50 grams. 50 grams. 5, or let's say 3, and then 200 or 100 grams. All right, so we'll fill these ones, drag down so that the formula will populate automatically. So now as we have put in uh, our food recipe, basmati rice, and then we put the ingredients here, and then there are respective quantities here that we use to produce basmati rice. And then the unit cost populated by itself, you have to drag fill so that the formula will be filled downward so that everything you are doing will be populated automatically. So as you put these ones, if you drag beyond this current recipe, as you drag beyond the current recipe to fill the formula, it will show you not applicable because the formula is made in a way that it will look out for this your ingredients section to get the ingredients name before it will look out for this amount, the unit cost to come and fill here. So until you put this section, it will show you non-applicable. So now let me let me add sugar. Now the unit cost is appearing here now. Then what else again? Let me add sausage. Alright, it has populated by itself. Then you add the pieces, the quantity. Let's say 50 grams. And then let's say, uh, let's say 2 finger. Alright. So now this ingredient cost I've explained before is the multiplication of the unit cost by the quantities of your recipe to produce this ingredient cost. Then you don't forget to add your yield. Let's say we produce 5 portions from this recipe, 5/7 or uh, uh, plates or menu of this recipe. Then always drag fill your recipe section to cover all the ingredients that you use to produce. So now, with us being able to populate this sheet, let's go to the cost summary to get the cost of this recipe. So you come here, click here, and click on the particular recipe. Then the same thing. Alright, so that being done, this is the recipe that we are dealing with. We choose it from this drop down, and it's basmati rice. And then they say the recipe cost, the cost of all the sum of all the ingredient costs here is what we have as our recipe cost here as 14,344 naira. Then the yield that was produced is 5/7 portions, so it's 5. And then the cost per 7, you see that the overall cost is looking as though it's cheaper than the sliced bread cost, but when you come and look at the cost per 7, you will find out that it's way more expensive. It's 1,000 naira more expensive than the bread. So this is the cost per 7. With this markup price, you have to sell a portion 4,303 naira to get your 50% markup profits. then the revenue expected to come out from these 5 sevens as you have sold them is 21,516 naira. Then the profit from selling this 5 portion is 7,172 naira. Now it gives you a monetary picture of realistic cost, the monetary value, the real value of your food. So you see that the bread is cheaper and it has the potential to make more profit than this one, but they are all making 50%. But the bread will sell faster, I guess, because of the prices. Though, so now the next step is to show you how your prices will automatically update when there is a change in the price of any of your ingredients or there is an inflation. So now let's say all the goods in the market increase at once and this one moved to 80,000, this one moved to 90,000, this one from 95 to 100,000. Sausage is now 3,000. Move to 6,000. So let's say these are the only products that were affected by market changes. So if you come to your recipe, everything remains the same. You have not changed your recipe. But then when you cost your cost, you see that the prices here have changed. This one from 50,000 to 62,000 now. This one has changed as well with small changes. And now instead of you to sell this one 2,800, now the new price, the Excel document is showing you, the app is showing you now is 4,000 for you to maintain this 50% markup. Then this one, instead of 1,800, is now 2,900 for you to maintain this 50% markup. Now your cost per 7 has also increased from 1,700, it's now 1,953. Then these two has increased as well, and then your profits has increased as well. So this is basically your costing, your food costing calculator that I am making available for you. You can download it at the description of this video. Now if you change your recipe, the price will change as well. If you don't want to compete, if you don't want to compromise your quality, the quality of your food, you can keep the price as the market price has changed. You can also increase your price. But if you want to compete differently and influence the quality of your food a little to be able to sell a bit lower without increasing your price, now maybe reduce the serving by using 120 instead of 150 to produce the same 5 portion. Then instead of using 900 grams of chicken, you use 700. Then you use 30 instead of 50. Reduce the ingredients bit by bit. Just track them a little. Begin to preach that sugar is not too good. Then you reduce to 2 eggs. Okay. With these changes, now you see that your cost has reduced a bit again. Instead of 4,000, it's now reduced to 2,977. So the increment is now minimal with you changing your recipe a bit. Now the same thing happens when you want to make your recipe richer. You feel like your recipe is not giving you the taste you want. I want to change the recipe and change the price. So you come here, you increase the recipe. So the food quantity is too small, you want to increase, you increase. And then the it's too small, so you change as well. Then 50, 50, then 4 eggs instead of 3, then 100, then 50, then 3. Now you see that it has increased again. So this app helps you to calculate your recipe cost, whether you are tweaking your recipe to increase the quality or to reduce the quality to compete effectively, or your ingredient prices have changed remarkably in the market. So it will show you the cost summary of everything. Now I've included an added value, just something a little addition to help you get your daily sales record right. Now this section is for your dates, this one is for the recipe that you want to see. Now if it's basmati rice, you see that the prices, everything has changed now. So this section shows you your daily sales record, your yield that you produce, the yield that you counted, the yield that was available as of when they opened and have and has produced, then the variance between the yield that you counted and the yield they were supposed to produce. So you ask questions, why is it lower? One is lower than the other one. Why are they not the same? That means they will say it's either B and D, or something else happened. So you record them, then the units sold, the quantity of units sold, then the closing yield, the quantity of goods that you were not able to sell. So they close with you. Customers did not buy those quantity. Now you come to this point. This is the closing yield. This is the selling price. The price calculates itself automatically from the cost summary where we put our markup selling price. So now the revenue from selling this unit time is the selling price will give you your revenue. Then the cost of sales, that is the cost of producing the units that you sold. Then the B&D cost, if you recorded any B&D, then the profits from selling whatever units of goods that you sold. So the profits, the revenue minus cost of sales will give you your profits. So this is all about the Excel calculator for your food recipe and your food business to help you have a clearer monetary picture of what's going on in your recipe. So guys, thank you for watching. If you are yet to subscribe, I would recommend you subscribe, like the video, share with your fellow food shop owners and food business managers to get effective costs, to minimize losses and be more efficient and effective in their cost calculator. Thank you very much.